time again for our little chat today. Today is Mother's Day in Sweden, so we celebrate on the 28th, usually on the last Sunday of May. Unlike many other country, why? I think it is because the flowers they don't produce so fast or early compared to many other countries. So that's why they postponed or forward the Mother Day to the later part of May. So happy Mother Day to every mother on this earth. You deserve the day of joy, being pampered and loved by your family. Not just today, but every day. So I'm too a mother, and my daughter, unfortunately, she is working in another city, so she will not be celebrating this day with me today. So, but she have sent me some greetings this morning and told me how much she loved me, which is what that is matters. Uh, for me, when I was younger, when I was like teenager, I started to appreciate my mother more and more as I grew older. It is because when you are older, you are more matured and you understand. Especially after you have given birth, then you will understand how hard it is to be a mom. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how Swedish people celebrate this day, Mother's Day, and how I feel about the Mother Day here and what Mother Day means to me. I'm going to start off by telling you guys how this special day is celebrated in Sweden. In Sweden, I think it used to be like not so popular, but nowadays it's getting very popular because the commercial thing, and also because people are very, I don't know, I felt like children and parents here, the relationship is very different from in Singapore. The reason why I say that is because after 18 years old, children become very independent, so they don't really have a really long bond with their parents. I'm not saying that they are unfilial, but I just felt like the bond is not as tight as in Singapore. Singapore parents are more bond to their children in a different way. So here in Sweden, how they celebrate is usually if you're a child and then you have daycare, so the teacher will tell the children, hey, it's Mother Day on Sunday, so maybe we should do a pictures for the parent, the mother. So the teacher will teach them how to do small craft. It's usually a card, and then it will say, oh, mother, happy Mother's Day, I love you, and then with a big heart. I remember I received one card like that. In fact, a few cards. Every time when there's Mother Day, my daughter, she will draw a card for me, and I keep them in my scrapbook. So unfortunately, I have it here to show you guys, but it's a really nice gift, even though it was not like you expect really beautifully done, but then the heart that count, I think that is most important. And also in the morning, usually mom are being greeted with maybe a song. I don't know, it's not a birthday song, it's like maybe a song from, I don't know if there's any Mother Day song, but maybe some music and maybe a breakfast with a tray with mom's favorite breakfast, coffee, usually tea, or maybe some sandwiches or a little cake. So just like birthday in Sweden, so we celebrate in that way. But I've never received anyone like that from my daughter though. Maybe because this is a very old tradition. Nowadays, people just give gifts So this is for smaller children, but for elderly children, like maybe teenage adult, usually uh, I don't know how, but my daughter, she usually will buy me a small gift. She will save some money and she will buy me a small gift. And now that she started earning money, so she always asks me, Mama, what do you want for Mother's Day? So usually I don't expect much. I just hope that she could come home and just have a meal with me, and I think I'm really satisfied. And also, it's also a day in Sweden. Like I think it's everywhere the same. You give mother a treat, right? By not letting her cook, not letting her clean the house, so the children and all the family will do that themselves. So for my case, I don't think so. Nalina ever did that for me, but because my house is always clean, so she didn't have to do that. But usually I like to cook. So on Mother's Day, I will cook because she's too small that time, and maybe over the years, when I invited her to come over, so I was the one who ended up cooking. But I hope that one day she will cook a meal for me when she gets older or when she has her own house. Because right now she's staying in another city. She's completing her studies to become a nurse. So she didn't really have a base yet. So I don't see her like taking that responsibility yet. But she's quite good in taking care of herself. So I think that day will come, and I'm so looking forward to that. Usually adult children, they will what I meant is those 25 years and above. So usually they'll buy a mom a gift. Maybe they'll buy flowers. Usually flowers are being given, and then maybe they will bring their mother out for a dinner at the restaurant. Just like me when I was in Singapore. So on Mother Day, I definitely will bring my mom out for a good meal. My mom, she loved to eat. So I always make sure that I would choose the kind of restaurant she like. So usually she like buffet. And I remember one time we were at this shopping center, and that time my mom was she was around 50 plus. She haven't got her cancer yet. And I was still in Singapore. I think I was around 25 years old. So it's about 30 years ago. And and we went to this buffet. It was a seafood buffet, and it was really expensive because that time, to eat a buffet, it can be very costly. But I don't really think about the price, so I knew that she loved it, so I brought her there. And when she eat, my mom is the type, she's very thrifty type, and she said, "Hey, this is really expensive. Maybe we should make the food out of it." And you know what she did? She eat slowly, and she said, by eating slowly, you tends to eat more, because if you eat too fast, then very quickly you're full. So this restaurant is in the shopping center, and she said, well, you guys sit here and have a dessert. I'm going out for a walk. I said, what? You cannot go out for a walk. How long will it take for you to go out for a walk? She said she want to go out for a walk to digest her food. So she can eat more. Because she felt so sorry for me. And she said that, this food, we can't have a doggy bag, so we have to eat our heart out to make our money worth it, right? So this candle is for her. She had passed to heaven, I think around 15 years. Was it 15 years ago? Yeah, around 15 years ago. So if you don't have a mother to celebrate, usually for those parent mom that are passed, so usually the adult children in Sweden, they will go to the grave with flowers For me, in my case, today I make my mother these flowers. This is the paper flowers that I made for her. So it's a little tiny orchid here. So I thought this is quite nice. So I made her a paper flower instead. And also light a candle so that I remember her, all the good things that she have done for me. My mother and me, we are very close. I remember when I was teenager, I was the only one who was close to her. So we spent quite a lot of time at night. After my homework, I will quickly go to my mom because we used to have this little, not like a bed, but it's like a foldable bed where we could sit outside in the garden and look at the sky. And I would normally count the stars, and then we'll start talking. You know, my mom, she tell me everything about her relationship with my dad and her feelings. You know, she's very open to me, and because maybe I was the youngest, and she felt like she still want to hold on to me as long as she can. Whereas my elder brothers and sisters, they are teenagers, so they were never at home. So I was the only one left. So eventually my relationship with her is very special. I remember I'm not like other teenager. You know, other teenagers, normally they like to go out and hang out with their friends. For me, you know, I like to hang out with my mom because I like to listen to all her wise words, and every words. I don't know whether you agree. Whatever things your mom said, you will remember it forever. Just like for my daughter, whenever I said something, you know, that hit her, it's like a stamp inside that will stay on to her mind forever. And she remember every words I say. That's the same thing with me and my mom. I remember every wise word she said to me. And I think the relationship became very intimate and very special is because we are able to share problems with each other, and whenever she feels sad, you know, she won't really share it with me, but I can feel it being so close to her. I felt like, you know, sometimes you don't have to be, because we are not a, I was not an adult to comfort her, but being with her means a lot to her because she lost my father when I was around 5 or 6 years old. So she didn't have a partner for almost all her life. Like 75% of her life is like without a partner. So maybe she felt comfort in me that I was there to listen to her, and and then she felt like she didn't really need to have someone to talk to, and I was enough for her. So I really miss that time when we were together. It's a really memorable time. And we can talk about everything and anything. Unfortunately, she passed when I moved here. I think after a few years, I moved to Sweden. She got cancer, and I tried to come back to Singapore to visit her as often as I could afford because it was very expensive for me. When I first moved to Sweden, I didn't have a job. So it was really depending totally on my saving. So eventually my saving was exhausted. I couldn't make it anymore, and come back to Singapore. And remember the last time she uh, talked to me because she was at her very last stage of cancer, and she was really weak, and she knew that her time was up. So I think I went back to Singapore 3 or 4 times during that 4 years. So, and I brought my daughter with me. And she was so happy, even though she was really fighting and she was really weak, but she was happy. uh, and maybe I want to share with you just one fast things that I cannot explain. All right, during the time when my mom had her cancer, I went to hospital with my daughter, and then we were on her bed. She has quite a slightly bigger bed because she's quite a big woman. So I used to lie down on the bed with her, and then Nelina, my daughter, was on her lap and on the bed. And every time, every day, when you are so close to that person, you can smell the body, the treatment, because she was under chemotherapy and her body have one special smell. And I never forget that smell. And when I stayed there for a month on her last year of life, and she told me, she said, don't come back on my funeral. So I said, why? They said, you cannot afford, it's very expensive when you come back. And I understand what she means, because she doesn't want me to spend so much. She know that I was very low in my saving. So the last time I gave her the hug, I will never ever forget. When I hugged her, I felt like that was the last time I ever going to hug her. And it was so emotional. And when I was hugging her, I didn't feel like it is a body I was hugging. I felt like I was hugging air, even though physically I was hugging her. That feeling was very strange. And we left Singapore, and I came back to Sweden for, I think, 1 or 2 months. And on one morning, I was vacuuming the floor. The vacuum is very loud, that sound. And then something tell me, turn off the vacuum cleaner. So immediately when I turn off the, the vacuum cleaner with my feet, I heard this sound, and I smelled this, the breath of my mom during her chemotherapy. And it was like just beside me, the air is like coming past, and I just feel her at that moment. And true enough, on that night, I think it was my sister-in-law who called me and said she passed. So I really don't know, but that feeling or that experience has a really deep impact on me. And every time when I pick up the vacuum cleaner, I always remember her. So I hope that Mother Day is not just a day that you remember your mom, but if possible, if she has already passed, try to find a moment to feel, because that will bring a lot of comfort in you, especially if you have a really deep special relationship with your mom or your dad, not necessarily mom. So I think that makes me feel like, life is too short and precious. We should spend uh, our every moment, if we have chance, with the people that we love and means a lot to us, especially our parents. They love us unconditionally. They will do anything for us. So I hope that this video means this little story reminds you of telling your mom, or at least some people are not comfortable in saying I love you, but you can always show them by just giving a phone call. How are you, mom? Or just text her. As it's very easy to do that, whether you're a teenager, whether you're adult, or whether you are older adult. Everybody can do that. I think that really means a lot to your mom. I wrote this text to remind me what I'm supposed to say. So I'm planning to keep this really short. And I hope this day, if you are already celebrated your Mother's Days like a few 2 weeks ago, still I hope it's this video will inspire you. Let me know what you guys think about my story. If you have any things that you like to say about this video, I would love to hear from you. And how do you celebrate Mother's Day? Do you do that? If not, it is still okay if you are unable to do that. I think it is not how much you do. I think it is still your heart is there, and she knew it. And I think my mom knew that I keep thinking about her every time I pick up the vacuum cleaner. So guys, I hope you enjoy this chat. Give a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. Right now I am really thinking about how I want to live stream, because Sunday afternoon 2 o'clock is a really peaceful time for me. Today we having really bad weather on this weekend, so let me just show you guys, all right, how it looks like outside. Can you guys see? It's really gray outside. The sky is very cloudy, and we don't have so much where we need to do, because LG this few days we are trying to do as much work as possible, because when the housework or the outside work is done, we have more time to do some outdoor activities. So it seems like the weather is going to be not so good this week and next week. And next week on Sunday, I may not be able to jump on live streaming because my daughter is graduating from nursing. So we will be spending a weekend in the city that at the university. So it will be like a ceremony, and then after that we will have dinner in a restaurant. So we will stay over at her place, and until I think Sunday evening we will be back. So just as you know that I will not be able to live stream next Sunday, and I hope you guys continue to have a great weekend, and I'll see you in my next. Bye bye.